Welcome back. Let's label together the structures of the eye. This right here is the eyebrow. This is the upper eyelid, also called the palpebra. This is the palpebral fissure. These are the eyelashes. This right here is the bulbar conjunctiva, which is a very thin, clear membrane that covers the sclera. This right here is the cornea. This is the medial commissure, which is medially toward the nose, whereas this is the lateral commissure, laterally toward the ears. This bucket-like structure is the lacrimal caruncle. This is the pupil right here. This is the iris, which is the colored part of the eye. Moving to this part, this is the orbicularis oculi muscle, whereas this is the levator palpebra superioris muscle. Levator, it pulls the palpebra, the eyelid, upwards. We can see the eyebrow. This is the lower eyelid. The space between the two eyelids, this is the palpebral fissure. These are the eyelashes. We can see the palpebral conjunctiva, which lines the eyelid, whereas this is the bulbar ocular conjunctiva, which covers the sclera. The sclera is the white part right here. Right here, we can see also the conjunctival sac. This right here is the cornea. This is the tarsal plate, and in the tarsal plate, we have the tarsal glands. Next, let's go over the structures of the lacrimal apparatus. This is the lacrimal gland. From the lacrimal gland, we have the excretory ducts of the lacrimal gland. This right here is the lacrimal punctum, this tiny opening. This is the lacrimal caruncle, which is a pocket-like structure. Right here, we have the medial canthus toward the nose, also called the medial commissure. And this right here is the lateral canthus, also called the lateral commissure. This is the lacrimal canaliculus. This right here is the lacrimal sac. So the lacrimal gland, it produces the tears. Lacrimal sac, it is related to the entire lacrimal apparatus. This right here is the nasolacrimal duct. We can see how it connects the lacrimal apparatus with the nose. That's why sometimes when we cry, your nose will run, right? This right here is the inferior meatus of the nasal cavity. This is the nostril. Moving to the extrinsic eye muscles, first right here, laterally, that's the nasal bone, so that's the medial aspect. This is the lateral aspect. This is the lateral rectus muscle. We can see it right here. That is the lateral rectus muscle. Because here you can see part of the frontal sinus. This is the medial rectus muscle toward the nose. This is also the medial rectus muscle. This is the superior rectus muscle, superiorly. You can see the tendon of the superior rectus muscle right here. This is the inferior rectus muscle. You can see part of the inferior rectus muscle right here. Again, this is the frontal bone. That's where you can see the frontal sinus. So this is the superior oblique muscle. That's running toward the frontal bone with an angle. So this is the superior oblique muscle. You can see the superior oblique tendon, which is held by the trochlea. So the trochlea was one of the structures on the humerus bone, on the distal end in specific of the humerus, which is the bone in your arm. Whereas right here, the trochlea is what holds the tendon of the superior oblique muscle. This is the inferior oblique muscle. Moving to the fibrous tunic, this is the cornea. And this is the sclera. As we mentioned earlier, the bulbar conjunctiva, it covers the sclera. Moving to the vascular tunic, we can see the choroid. This is the iris, which is the colored part of the eye. The opening in the iris is the pupil. This right here is the ciliary process, whereas this right here is the ciliary muscle, which is a smooth muscle, and they form the ciliary body. So the ciliary body is formed by the ciliary muscle and the ciliary process. This right here is the lens. The lens is attached to the ciliary process via the suspensory ligaments, also called the ciliary zonule. Moving to the sensory tunic, right here we have the retina. This is the macula lutea right here. At the center, we have the fovea centralis. This is the optic disc, which is a blind spot. It's where the optic nerve, cranial nerve number 2, exit the eye. You can see the optic nerve, and these are the central artery and vein of the retina. Right here, we have the ora serrata retina. Moving to the eye segments, this right here is the anterior segment, which contains the aqueous humor. That's the sclera. And we can see the posterior segment right here, which contains the vitreous humor, also called the vitreous body. The aqueous humor is watery in consistency, whereas the vitreous humor, it is jelly-like in consistency. This right here is the scleral venous sinus. It is a scleral venous sinus because it is present in the sclera to drain the aqueous humor. Also called Schlimm's canal.